I am not Jared. My voice is very different. But I'm also back for 3 weeks. Welcome. This is the Blockbuster Hall of Fame, and we just watched an iconic 90s movie called Mortal Kombat. I do have a theory, and I think judging from our pre talk beforehand, the theory holds true that for the most part, guys generally like this movie despite all its flaws. I don't think many women are fans of this movie. Erica, do you want to confirm or deny this theory?
I don't think I'm a fan of this movie. I don't know if it's the woman in me or if it's just bad.
It's not good, but it's still enjoyable for me. Um, so this is based on very obviously a video game franchise. Arcade came out in 1992, and then it came out for like Super Nintendo and Genesis after that, and then it has spawned like 140 games since then. Um, do you guys have a history with Mortal Kombat?
Why, yes, Ray. I figured you'd do a little introduction since you were new to the video format. But anyways, uh,
They
just
can see
messing
us.
with you,
Hey,
Ray.
that's Gordon. That's Seth, and that's Erica.
But
Okay.
I was just going to say, for me, really, the original Mortal Kombat, playing that with over at some friend's house, that's probably the biggest memory for me. I am not a deep lore understanding of what's going on with in Mortal Kombat, so made for an interesting viewing from my points. This is the first time I've seen this movie.
Are you kidding me? This is
No,
the
no,
first time you've seen this movie?
not joking one bit.
Oh my God, I've seen this movie as many times as I've seen Armageddon, which is literally uncountable. That's crazy. Seth, what's your history with Mortal Kombat as a whole?
So Mortal Kombat as a whole, I think I actually saw this movie before I ever played a game, one of the games. And then after that, I played Mortal Kombat the same way I play Madden football now, which is every few years I'm going to buy a new one because I want to play it and I get the urge to play it, but I'm not playing every single year of it. So like I'm not getting like Mortal Kombat every single one, but I've played, five or six of them. And I'm probably gonna go get the new one that just dropped, I think what last year. I'm probably gonna go get that now because I watched the movie and now I want to play it. So it's one of
Yeah,
those things where I'm in and out.
that's gonna be a sale. When that's on sale, I'll buy that or something.
Mhm.
How about you, Erica?
I want to say that my uncle probably played this when I was growing up, and that's probably my first exposure to it. And as we were watching the movie, I was like, have I seen this before? Why does this feel so familiar? So I'm not convinced this is the first time I've watched the movie, but it's definitely the first time where I've paid attention through the whole thing.
It but it's also so. Here's my argument, and I don't. We'll find out where we are standing on this movie before we dive into it. But my argument is this is the ultimate. Just put on the background and go about your day because you're going to check in and there's a fight happening and you're going to sit down for 5 minutes and watch it and then you might leave and come back. Hey, there's another fight happening, and you don't really need to know the details. All you need to know is like, hey, people are fighting and clearly this one dude is the villain. I mean, he makes it known. He's going all out. So you know who the bad guys are and the good guys are.
Well, if you pay
Okay,
attention to the details, they don't make sense. So it
that's
is one
true.
of
Yeah,
those movies.
it is one of the movies where the more you pay attention, the more questions you have. That's
Yeah,
that's true.
yes,
So
this is
what
one of those.
are? No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's one of those things where when you see the reboot movie and then you watch this one afterwards, if you like really pay attention to it, it becomes one of those things where it's like, yeah, they could have done that different. That doesn't make sense if you're paying too close attention to it, especially when you see a Mortal Kombat movie that makes a little bit more sense. It really does kind of highlight it.
Oh, you're triggering me with that. What makes more sense? I have issues with the new one.
No,
I
no, no,
can't
no.
wait to get to that one.
Hold on. I'm also not saying that that one is perfect. It's just
Oh, it's
they,
not.
yeah, no, it's definitely not. But I would say that it had a little bit more. Like I said, when we get to the negatives of this movie, I'll tie back into it. I'll explain then. That'll be better put then.
We're not gonna have time for negatives. All right. Movies involving tournaments is a theory I have where, for the most part, if your movie involves a tournament, it's gonna be pretty good. I want you guys to think about it. We got Karate Kid, Bloodsport, Kickboxer, any basketball movie that has a tournament, Teen Wolf, whatever. You
Next
name
goal
it.
wins.
Is that a
Yes.
movie?
Yes, it's a
That's a
soccer
movie.
movie with Michael Fassbender. It's very, very good.
What? Michael Fassbender's in a soccer movie? Is he
Yeah,
a
no,
coach?
it's
Great
Is he-
movie.
yeah, he's a coach. He plays a real life person. It's based on a true story. You should
Oh,
watch
that's
it.
interesting.
It's a Taiki Waititi movie. I think so. I say
Okay.
that guy's name.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Waddy. I don't know.
I think it's
Um,
Waititi. I think.
Hey,
Anyway.
just proves the theory. If your movie has a tournament in it, then it is already set up for success. Which was, I think, my problem with the remake they did. There was no tournament. It was just a bunch of lore dropped on you. But we'll get there when we get there. Let's talk about casting. I know some of you guys aren't quite as into this franchise as I was growing up, where it's like me and my brother played it nonstop. But casting wise, hey, this stars Chris Lambert, our Highlander hero. Um, okay. Any concerns casting wise? Jordan, jump in here. Any concerns at all when it comes to the cast? Any like, oh, they probably should have got someone else, or hey, this is rock solid.
Not really. Just I thought the cast was fine. Acting wise, I think it was fine. I mean, given
Really?
what they had for a budget and everything with the movie, and the fact that this is a video game movie, I thought they did a fine job. So I really don't have any complaints necessary. Nothing stood out. I mean, this is no Street Fighter where we have the clear standout acting there with Street Fighting, the one character that we even made a term for
Bison?
for a while. But yeah, when they bison it,
Yeah,
you know.
when he bison it, Raul Julia. That man. Ooh.
Hey, I would say though, Shang Tsung, the actor, really tried to get there though. He didn't quite get there, but he you saw the effort.
I will agree they put in the effort, but it's hard to go full bison, you know.
True, it's hard. You can only go full,
Ah.
you can only go full bison once in your career. That's true. All right. Any concerns? Because I feel like generally the casting, shockingly, was pretty good.
It was Raiden.
Um,
I think he's the only one that really. I mean, I like Lambert. Obviously, I like him, but like, isn't Raiden
ironically,
not a white guy? Like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it is the '90s and all, so that's
They gotta-
sort of a given that.
in Lambert, he's French, right?
He's something. He's he's ambivalent.
Yeah.
He's ambiguous or something. No one really knows what he is. He's just kind of like he's just a foreign man.
Yeah, he was a weird. He was the only one where when I watch it, I'm like,
It sort of stood out, yeah.
yeah, and I mean it gets worse in the second one with his. Well, I know we'll get to that movie, but it gets so much worse. But
I'm
so
gonna
it could be
apologize
worse,
now.
is what I'm going to say. So it could be worse. That has been proven in the second movie. But I think overall, other than Lambert, I don't think there was, because it's not like you got to see Sub-Zero or Scorpion. Really, they were behind the mask the whole time. They had to fight. They didn't really have characters or personality.
Did they even talk? I don't think they had any lines.
Scorpion, yeah, I would say
No.
Scorpion's just as big. Yeah, which is
That-
even that
in fact,
actor.
That was
Yeah.
all he could say. He couldn't be like, "Hey, man, let's fight." Every single line was like, "Hello, have you had your coffee?" Everything was like so dramatic.
I would have thought it would have been rather funny if they just pulled the voice lines of Scorpion straight from the video game. Like, look, we know why
Sounded
you're
like.
here, you like it, so we'll just pull the audio for them. I think that would have been a little funny.
Did anyone else watch this and look at Sonya Blade and be like, "That's the girl from Happy Gil," or Billy Madison, right?
The whole movie.
The whole movie, yeah. Okay,
The whole
Billy
movie is-
Madison's girlfriend.
Yeah, it's like and she's like the love interest or the love interest rival of every romantic comedy of the '90s. I think. Like, this is what it feels like. Because wasn't she also the wedding planner? Wasn't she like Matthew McConaughey's
Oh, I didn't see that.
like love interest?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's Jennifer Lopez. It's not that good. But yeah,
I don't think she was in that.
No.
Oh, yeah, she was.
she was.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Wedding
she's
Planner.
also in a movie I've seen too many
Remember what
times to
she
count.
did last
House on
summer?
Haunted Hill. No, House on
House
Haunted Hill.
Hmm.
I don't. Oh, she was also in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she in the
I-
movie? Wow.
Yeah, I think she was fine. as Sonya Blade, though. I will say it's very apparent because she did her own stunts, and it gets very apparent that she did her own
Yeah.
stunts, and she should have had a stunt double.
She like broke her leg or something during that sand fight with Kano. Who, by the way, Kano, that actor had very little screen time, but in the lore of Mortal Kombat, I think he's Russian, and they just made him Australian in the movie, and I think the games just kind of said, "All right, he's Australian now." Like his portrayal was kind of so
They did such
good.
a good job with it, yeah.
Yeah, I
And he's
think
not
they just made him Australian.
Trevor Goddard. I don't think even is Australian. I think he just plays Australians and everything. Like I don't think he's actually Australian,
He just
but he
likes that
does
voice.
that in everything. He was in Jag as an Australian lawyer.
Oh yeah, that is him. I didn't realize that. Yeah, he's from the United Kingdom. Which,
I love.
ironically, actually, I thought Kano was British. I didn't realize he was supposed to be Australian. Maybe I missed that or something.
I love the random Jag name drop that Seth will randomly do every 80 episodes. Because it's part of the Jag universe. Yeah, it's on NCIS.
Jag Universe is crazy, given that
It is.
spun off to NCIS and all that stuff. So Jag really lives on now.
Jag never dies. Jag is never dead.
Oh, it's
And-
not gonna die.
As we covered before with it, it was another movie that we watched. It was a spun off of that, A Few Good Men.
Admiral, yeah, yes.
Okay, y'all. You're getting too excited over there. All right.
I watched a lot of Jag. Anyways, let's carry
So
on.
good.
Did you guys know that? So we had the character introductions, right? And Liu Kang was like, I don't know where he was living before he got that note, like, "Hey, your brother's dead. Come home." And then, but we get to Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage is filming a movie. Terrible, terrible fighting set piece there. But did you know, like, Steven Spielberg was supposed to be the director in that chair,
Oh, really?
and then like he was a fan of the games or something, but he had to back out, so they hired a guy who looked identical to Steven Spielberg to sit in the chair.
Yeah, because he definitely dressed and looked like Steven Spielberg. So that is funny though that they originally thought about getting him for it.
Also,
It wasn't in the budget.
He was not in the budget, no.
I would love to see what Spielberg, like, the buy-in of him directing that scene, because that just doesn't feel like a
Yeah,
Spielberg
no.
scene. So it would have made it even funnier. Like, just been like, there's no way he's directing.
That's probably why
this.
Yo, show some respect. Like, I would
Yeah,
never
it's
do
like, I got my name to think of here. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I will say the CG was pretty bad in this movie.
Oh God,
Okay, go off. Reptile. You want to talk about Reptile for a bit?
it was horrible. I love practical effects. Like, I think that's all I said the entire movie. And so seeing that, I was like, what is this? And so I was like, it was the 90s. I'm like, I don't care.
Just don't do it. Yeah. If you
Exactly.
can't do it, don't do it.
At
But
that
did
point,
you-
I
It
was
looked good.
like,
It looked
No,
good
it-
in the 90s.
No,
In
it didn't.
1995, as a kid watching that movie, I was like, yeah, this is
Yeah.
cool. All right. Older me now looks back on it after The Matrix, and I'm like,
Did you appreciate, Erica, the Goro practical effect of Goro, where it was just like I can't remember how they did it, but it was like a machine and they had someone control lower arms. I mean, I
Yes.
don't know.
So that was immediately what I said. I was like, if we could do practical effects for this, and that is an example of looking good for the 90s, okay?
I agree.
And then
yeah,
you
it still
do
holds
the
up.
lizard thing. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, it probably cost more to do the stupid animation than it did to just like make a puppet or something.
Why not just have Reptile be the Green Ninja and then have him disappear? Why have
Oh,
to
I know-
make him an actual reptile
I know the
for
answer
the
to that.
movie?
The answer to that is because when they were making the movie, the Green Ninja was not even supposed to be in the movie. It wasn't until they did a test screening. I read this in trivia. That's the only reason I know this.
Nice.
And people were like, hey, fighters are, there's not enough fights. There need to be more fights. So they went back and added Reptile as the Green Ninja part so they could have
There's
the fight between him and
not
Liu Kang.
enough fights. Are you kidding me? There's like 12.
That was the complaint. I'm just saying that was the complaint. They added 2 more fights. That one and then I forget the other one. They added another fight in there somewhere to
So
beef up the fights.
a little lore dump for you guys. The first game had the main characters that we see, right? In the movie. Reptile was not a playable character, but if you did a bunch of hard shit that's almost impossible, like not get hit for like 18 rounds in a row or something, he will show up in his human form as like a fighter you have to fight. And he's damn near impossible. So and he's a combination. Like in that game, he is like Scorpion's arm rope thing, and then Sub-Zero's freeze. So he's like a combination, but they tweaked him for the later games. Okay, I have a quick. We're gonna go down and just kind of talk about each fight in order, and then I'm gonna let you guys just poo poo all over this movie. Okay, but I wanna do a small poo poo first. First, I'm gonna talk about Jax. Jax, if you don't remember, is Sonya Blade's black friend in the special unit that they're in, right?
Right.
There's a scene when they're spying and the boat has arrived and they're spying and she sees Kano get on the boat. She's like, I'm going. And she runs and she's like 100 meters away. Jax, instead of going, no, come back, he goes, no, it's dangerous. Come back. And if you ever watch it again, you should watch it for that scene. It's like, do you not want her to come back, sir? But my
I
real
agree. I even noticed that the first time watching it. I was just like, he's like, okay, bye, pretty much.
Listen, he's probably sick of her going on and on about this Kano guy.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, she could be a little insufferable at times. So it's kind of like maybe he was just like, hey,
I mean, you got Johnny Cage just being toxic all the time. I would be insufferable too, telling him, hey man, back off. No means no, you know? But I will say one thing the only thing this movie needs to do to fix itself. Okay, that's a big statement there. Is they introduce this other character I call him Rando, or I call him Young Charles Barkley. He's not a character in the video game, but he's
Young
that's
Charles
what I'm talking
Barkley.
about. He's the guy that Goro kills.
Yeah.
Art Lean.
First, right? He looks like a young Charles Barkley. Anyways,
I'm dead.
Why not have that be Jax? And instead of killing him, have Goro rip his arms off? Because the one thing we know about Jax is he has metal arms. I just do that.
It would have made more sense for her to scream whenever he died.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. She's like, yeah. Wait, who is that again? You know,
literally.
See, I told Erica this. One, I don't think they could do that because I think they were going for that PG-13 money. And I think if you rip his arms off, you're going to run the risk of losing the PG-13. But I like that idea. That's a great idea. Because the other idea I had for her, and it would go perfectly with yours, is if the one thing they missed out on is they made this little trio be the hero and they were running around. This guy, young Charles Barkley, should have been running with them. Because then it would have made sense if it was like 4 people, the heroes, and then she like knows them and they've actually been fighting together and everything. Yeah. And it would potentially give more dialogue to Sonya Blade that isn't, leave me alone. That's pretty much all she does throughout the whole entire movie. And not her fault. That is the writer's fault, not the actress's fault.
Or have her chained up at the end in a outfit.
A terrible brown leather dress.
It was not attractive. They tried. I was like, this is not even working for me.
Like, why is it brown? No.
All right, so let's go down the fights here. First of all, there's a lot of fit men on this boat. All right. There's
a lot
one
of
guy,
olive oiled up men too. There's a lot of oil being used.
Oh yeah, baby oil was in abundance. This was like P. Diddy's restroom, all right? Just tons of baby oil, all right?
I was stopping myself intentionally.
Yorton with a sigh of disapproval. Okay, so our first fight is Sub-Zero versus a rando. And this is the guy that, if you notice, he has like a face mask and he does that stretch where he like leans back and like every muscle is popping out. And I think I pulled my back muscle watching him do that. But this dude's hopping up and down, wasting all his energy. Meanwhile, across from him is Sub-Zero, who is literally conjuring ice out of thin air. and this dude's shadow boxing. So not a great fight, but it was cool seeing Sub-Zero do that move. And I think I guess the point of that was like, hey, here's Sub-Zero and why he's a badass.
It
Any
reminded me
comments
of
on that? Go
it
ahead.
reminded me of the Raiders of the Lost Art moment when you have the guy like with the sword going boom boom boom, and all of a sudden Indy pulls the gun and shoots him. It reminded me of that because it just was like, yeah, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. It's don't bring shadow boxing to a mystical, if I can speak, super powered or mythical, yeah, ninja fight. Like just come on, there's levels.
Yeah. Come on, we get it. You can kick high. All right. Not a great fight. Moving on, but we get Liu Kang versus, I call this Rando number 2. And this is the guy in the sandpit who has the cool looking dreads. Honestly, one of the most terrifying men I've ever seen in my life. Like, if I had to fight him, I would be terrified. He is like basically growling at you. Go ahead, Seth. You have some thoughts on this, it seems like.
Yeah, you're disrespecting Andrew McCutcheon.
Oh
There's no
my
need to
God.
disrespect Andrew McCutcheon
We
like
got
that.
young Charles Barkley, Andrew McCutcheon, all the not employees. Oh dear God, the
Athlete.
athletes,
He's a baseball
all
player
the employees.
who looks very similar
Yeah.
to this guy.
I'm not really sure why that fight was in there. I don't really remember what happens except for they clapped sticks a few times and then. Oh, I think it was there to show Shang Tsung's power to absorb the souls, right?
My question though is why was he fighting him? Like,
They're
I
in
guess
the
he fought for
tournament.
Outworld.
I thought it was like, yeah, it says like Outworld versus the Mortals, and it's like, what? You just brought
Okay, I
some
lied.
random guy?
There's two things that could have fixed this movie: the Jax thing and a playoff-like bracket that was updated every few minutes.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Or at least showing like who's playing, because it was that this tournament didn't seem to have many rules, and the rules that it
No.
did have, it was like at the very end when Raiden goes like, "There's one more final rule you should know about," and it's like, really? You
I
didn't
made it
tell
up.
them all the rules like from the beginning? What? Why did you keep this from them?
I don't know if you can necessarily call it a tournament, but given that like half the fights are just them wandering around and running into the other opponent, these aren't sanctioned fights. Pretty much, they didn't have any like, hey, at this time, please show up to here.
Yeah, it was basically a battle royale, and also like Shang Tsung at the end's like, "Now's the final fight because I decide it's the final fight." It's like, oh, okay. Could we have just not fought before this and let you like? I
Challenge
don't see the rules.
Sonya Blade right at
Yeah.
the beginning. He's like, "Hey, glad you're all here. Sonya Blade, I challenge you." Like, I don't like, roll credits. We're done here.
All right, but guess what, y'all? Sonya Blade fights Kano and gets her revenge. And ultimately, like, Kano's in this movie for like 2.5 scenes, and that's it. It's kind of disappointing to see him go out like that. I don't know. No.
I was fine
Yeah.
with it. I thought he was annoying. I'm like, yay, he's dead.
Yours like, yay. Yeah, I
Yay,
love it.
Jeff. You know, it's weird though. He was a human from Earth, but he was fighting for the outer realm. Is that?
You're
is
the
what
one
it's
that
called?
brought up. Don't think about it too hard.
Well, I
He
mean,
was a
you know-
criminal. He was an underground criminal who was promised riches by Shang Tsung.
How about that spread at that lunch table he was at though? That was a nice spread. Okay, moving on. Johnny Cage versus Scorpion. Is this the best fight in the movie?
No.
In the woods and then in hell, basically the Nether
Mhm.
realm. No. Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
That's a top
When we
four,
get
but it's not the
top 4.
Top 4.
That's crazy. You can say it's the top 4 out of all 20 fights. I actually like this fight. It was this back in the day. I know Erica. The CG was pretty terrible coming out of his palm like that. But as a 10-year-old, you're like, this is the dopest shit I've ever seen. I
Yeah, it
need
did
this.
look pretty bad, especially when they went sideways. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
But it also raises questions like, is that thing alive? Because it's squealing and like
It's
feels pain.
laddered.
Like
He's a Goa'uld.
What?
That's really what
Ray-
you
Ray
do
doesn't-
bring up a good point.
Ray
That
doesn't
does
get
look
that.
like a
That was a
oh,
great point.
you are 100% correct there, Erica.
Ray is
Stargate.
missing Stargate. He's missing Stargate
Yes.
from his nerd
Yeah.
profile.
I watched Stargate,
Yes.
not the show, just the
No,
movie.
well, this
And I-
is definitely going to be the show because they
Well,
don't.
and the
even
movie.
have-
Or did they talk?
No, I don't
they
think they
didn't. You're
showed the
right.
worm.
They didn't have.
They
him
just
in the,
said it.
They
yeah.
they emphasized that they took over the body, but they never really said how.
Yeah, and you didn't
Hey.
see I don't remember seeing the worm in the movie.
in the future, instead of Stargate references, could y'all make Farscape references?
I've never
I would
seen it.
That's
In the
next.
future, yes, we will be able to,
Okay, thank you.
but not now.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, yeah. So there's that fight. Here's the thing. They are trying to cram in every move, every phrase, every fatality they can in this movie, right? And we get it. We go to the Nether Realm where they teleport there through movie magic, and they fight on a rackety fence. And Scorpion, as a last-ditch effort, does his "I'm gonna rip my face off and blow fire at you through my skull," right? Doesn't work. Johnny Cage leaves his friendship fatality where he leaves autograph. My question is, how the hell does Johnny Cage get back?
So
Not addressed.
I now remember what the second fight they added. It was the second half of that fight. The fight was supposed to end when he kicked him in the woods. So.
Oh yeah. Good call. Adding that.
Yeah.
That was
So I don't think
lackluster.
they planned for that. I think in my head canon, it's as soon as Scorpion died, the portal world ended and he was just kicked out.
Yeah.
But
That's what
that
I
doesn't
would
make
go
any
with.
sense, really. But that's what I'm going to
That's
go
what
with. Yeah.
That's video game logic, though. I feel like,
Yeah.
and so we're working off.
But this is real
Brady
life.
wouldn't
Isn't
have
a
got
video
him.
game. Okay, then we have Liu Kang versus Katana, which is like Katana. If you're gonna not fight and help him out, please don't make it confusing. Quit giving this man riddles. Just say, "Hey, use a bucket of water." You know. What if he was like oxygen? The riddle is oxygen. You know.
I thought it was
The-
air.
The water
See?
makes no sense, though, to me, because all he's
Right.
doing is freezing everything around it. And so the water, he's touching everything and it instantly freezes, but the water apparently doesn't instantly freeze? Okay. Then how come Anyways, that was the one time where I'm like, this is stupid.
The one time. That was
Oh,
the one
that's the
time.
one
Only
time.
time.
Where you're
In
like,
particular,
this
that
is
one
dumb.
was stupid. Then I'm like, all right, guys, you could have done better than that one.
You know what we didn't talk about as a character as well before we move on to one of the final fights is another character that was added to this movie that was not in the game was Liu Kang's brother. The one that is in the opening scene and dies and comes back at the end. What's up, Jordan?
I want to say one thing. He was supposed to be the second stringer, the backup. Dude probably weighed like 120 pounds, man, and apparently did not know how to fight quite as much. Whose idea was it to have him as backup?
They couldn't pick someone else. They had to pick his brother.
Yeah, I'm like, they had no one else.
So, I'm gonna my nerdism is gonna come out, whatever.
Okay.
In the
Sorry.
second game, and they mention him in this, but it's a continuity error. Kung Lao is like his uncle or something, and he or something like that. He's related to Liu Kang. Kung Lao is the guy with the hat that he throws in Mortal Kombat 2 and whatever. He's the backup plan. But in this movie, they say Liu Kang is like, I am a descendant of Kung Lao, and I am the chosen one, or something like that, right? So I think they kind of said, we'll just throw his name in there, you know? Okay, let's see here. Almost done. We got Liu Kang versus Sub-Zero. You know, for two martial artists, pretty terrible stunt, like, coordination here. This was terrible. This is not Daredevil season 1.
No, it is not. But like when Liu Kang runs down the ramp screaming and just does like a weird kick in the middle of
the air, like...
yeah, he just like does this. It's like, dude, what are you doing? That's so
It reminds
weird.
It reminds me of the end when he's looking for Shang Tsung and Shang Tsung is like looking down on him and he's like, "I'll take your soul." And Liu Kang goes, "Okay, never." And then he starts running up the stairs.
He doesn't run. He like trots.
He
Okay.
bounds. Yeah.
I told Beth, I was like, this is that movie magic moment or that video game magic where he just like jumps and he's there because the little trotting up the steps is not
Couldn't cut around
intimidating.
that. You know, even as a kid, I was like, why'd they
Here I
do
come.
that? They filmed the whole thing with no cuts. I don't understand that. Anyways, look, people have seen this movie. Sub-Zero got through the chest with his own freeze. Did you guys know Sub-Zero dies? That is correct. Sub-Zero's in the second game. However, it's his brother who is out to seek revenge for him. And there is another character who is the all black ninja. He looks like a shadow. That is Sub-Zero reincarnated as Noob Saibot. How am I engaged? Lord knows. But there you go.
There's hope for everyone. Don't worry.
There's hope for everyone. And then we get Goro versus Charles Barkley. Actually, pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. For what they had to use, pretty much an immobile 7 foot tall monstrosity. I mean, I was kind of impressed. And Goro, I like that he's tangible. Like he looks like you can touch him and you see the wrinkles on him. That's what's cool about practical effects. I just want to say I appreciate that. Any thoughts on that fight before we move on?
Yes, but we've already said them, which
Okay.
was they should have made him a lot more involved in the early part of the movie rather than just Johnny Cage going, "Hey, I saw you fight. I like you." And then we just
Yeah,
accept
right.
that that's their motivation for, and they're all upset because of this. Like they didn't even talk to the guy on the once they got to the island. They like never talked to him again.
He didn't have a name until like an offhanded comment by Johnny Cage at the end, and I think his name was like Sam or something.
No,
I
Art Lean.
don't
No, it's Art Lean. I looked it up because I was curious, and his name was Art Lean. I can't get over this.
Ain't
You're
no
gonna make
way.
up a character for Mortal Kombat, and you named him Art, and you named him Lean. His name is Art Lean,
Okay,
which
so
makes it sound like a King of the Hill thing.
I knew it was a
Arlene?
3-letter name. Arlene.
That's what it sounds like.
Okay, and then we have Cage versus Goro, and Cage is like, I'm going to save you, Sonya Blade, because I'm in love with you, and I've only known you for 12 hours, but I'm going to step up, and I'm gonna do the manly thing. I'm going to fight this beast who would whoop my ass if this wasn't a movie. Erica, speak.
I think what gets on my nerves most about maybe it's less about the fight. It's about the fact that they go from like barely saying a few things to each other all of a sudden to this intimate like fight on the rocks with the sunset and like there's tension.
Yeah.
I'm like they haven't said more than 10 sentences to each other and most of it has been him annoying the shit out of her. And then now all of a sudden it's like I really care about you. I want to save you.
That was good. You're the one. Yeah, definitely. It was not earned. That's for sure.
Oh,
That was my favorite fight.
It was good.
I'm just saying the motivation was dumb. They should have stuck with the whole like you killed my friend, I'm gonna kill you type deal. Would have been significantly more emotionally potent than Sonya Blade, I love you because you're pretty.
Look, this movie did what people wanted it to do. All right, you got the moves, you got the fatalities, you got the characters, you got the nut punch, you got it all, y'all.
You got the splits from Johnny Cage. You got what's the John
Yeah.
Claude Van Damme reference? These are $500 sunglasses, asshole. Or those are. I mean, this is where you follow the call. It was actually to me that fight was actually one of the best fights because of all the different things. Just the one time the movie seemed to realize, oh hey, we actually established things earlier in the movie. We should probably bring that back. We should probably use the whole movie.
I will say that I did like that fight because he was really clever and like, look, I'm not going to go and square off with this guy. He's got multiple arms, much stronger than me, so I'm going to be clever. And I like the
I'm gonna
fact
run
that he
around.
was clever and everything.
I'm gonna punch him in the dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That was his
then I'm
Run
big
gonna
move.
off, go by the
run up to
cliff,
the
and then throw him off balance and throw him off the cliff.
What if he didn't have genitalia?
That's what I was actually wondering. It's like, man, he risked it because you don't know the anatomy of an alien like
You
that
don't.
or interdimensional,
Apparently, it
but
was
it's
very
still there.
sturdy under there because he hurt his hand.
and very
Oh.
tender for Goro.
He was
But, yeah.
excited for the fight. Okay, moving on. um, we have Lou versus Reptile, which we already talked about was the added fight. Honestly, keep him in the ninja form and let him be like a protector. Don't make him do all this other stuff.
Hold on, can we-
Yeah, go
Sorry.
ahead.
Can we just talk about the fact that Reptile did more damage to Liu Kang than I can't say his names in this.
Shang Tsung.
Thank you. He did more damage to Liu Kang than Shang Tsung did. Like he actually was getting the business handed to him by
He
Reptile.
was.
Which goes
You're
to
right, yeah.
your point, by the way, about him being a super hard guy to beat in the game. So I'm not sure. I may be giving too much credit there to them for this, but he was definitely getting it handed to him at first. It was like, dang, dude. Like,
Speaking of that, like, he was a cool character and he was always a fan favorite. Like, I loved playing as him growing up in like the second and third games. Do you guys, I know you don't have quite the history with the games as I do, but do you guys have a favorite character, like a go-to character, or just one that you're like, I don't really know much about it, but this guy's cool as shit? Go ahead. Let's go around the horn here. We got Seth.
it's a toss-up tie between Sub-Zero and Johnny Cage. Those are my two favorites.
I feel like Sub-Zero and Scorpion tend to be the go-tos.
I mean,
Erica?
Sub-Zero is blue, so.
Well,
Yes.
I've seen the new movie and I did like Sub-Zero's character, so that's probably who I would choose.
He was cool as hell in the new movie. Like, he was actually kind of terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I
Boy,
thought
Joe
he did it
Taslim.
right.
I
Even
Yeah,
like-
shout out Joe Taslim.
I love
We're on
that
a
actor.
tangent here, but even the opening with him and Scorpion, like, that was video game accurate, to their story, and it was really cool. And I was like, this is like a real movie. It turns into something else after that, but for that scene, I was like, oh, they're really going for it, like this is cool. Yorton, do you have a favorite character?
I was actually going to say Sub-Zero too, and it's just simply like, oh, he looked cool. But I like
Mhm.
playing him. That's about it.
Yeah.
Johnny
And-
Cage and Sub-Zero. There's no cooler characters.
I'm so
Johnny
boring.
Cage just makes me laugh whenever I see the cutscenes for him.
Oh man, in Mortal Kombat 9, he's such a douchebag. Like, he's not even enjoyable anymore. He's like up his own ass, like he's just a cocky guy. I just had a flashback, but I'm so boring. Like, if people ask me who my favorite character in Game of Thrones, I'm like Jon Snow. I'm always like drawn towards a reluctant hero, and so that's why Liu Kang has always been my favorite. Plus, I could spam his flying kick. I just spam that while holding the low kick for 5 seconds, which does the scissor kick. Like, I just repeat that over and over, and my brother throws the controller across the room.
I'm about to say,
Um,
you're
I was
you're
gonna
probably
say-
the worst to play against.
Jon Snow, that's a
Um,
boring choice, man. Come on.
I know.
Basic. Oh my god.
Especially with Rob Stark right there.
Oh,
mean,
I
he
would
needs to
definitely
laugh more.
respect that choice much more.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm a Tywin Lannister.
R.I.P.
That was always my favorite. Anyways,
Littlefinger was a fun character.
not Tywin. The dad.
That was it. Tywin.
Tywin. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
You had me confused there. Yeah.
My
You want to
actual
talk about Game of
favorite.
Thrones for a bit?
Hey,
Let's
sure.
do this.
No,
Let's talk about Game of Thrones for an hour. I love that show. I don't care about the 8 seasons. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Same.
It was good. I finished the very second to last episode 15 minutes before it aired, and I loved it. And then the whole internet went wild and hated it. And I was like, but it was great. But I think it's because I binged it. No.
Also, had a slight pacing issue where it was a little rushed in the
For
last
sure.
season, but other than that,
sure.
it was good. I didn't have any of the other issues that people had with it, other than the
At
pacing
least
was
it
slightly rushed.
ended. At least it ended and gave us answers. Now, it didn't answer all the things that, like, the conspiracy theories, what the symbols meant, but, like, it ended. The Night King, we found out who was what. We got a little epilogue. Like, it wasn't lost. You know?
Or it
wasn't
wasn't the
Dexter.
books.
Yeah, that's probably the only ending we'll get.
Okay, cool. Great Game of Thrones talk, y'all. Appreciate it. Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung, and then we'll talk about all the things you want to complain about this movie. By the way, before we talk about the spikes in the ground at the end, I do want to say I wish they would have had a fight on that bridge earlier in the movie when they had that bridge. That's an iconic level from the games where they're on like. There's not even a fight on it, but our heroes are standing on it talking, and then they go inside and fight a bunch of bad guys. But I wish we would got a fight on the bridge, and then what's iconic about it is at the bottom of that, if you like uppercut someone as a fatality, they will fall off the bridge into spikes, right? So they kind of did that here at the end with the spikes. Any thoughts on this last fight before we move on? I mean, it's kind of a letdown.
Well, hold on. Eric could go first because this will segue perfectly into a lot of my no-nos and poo-poos.
Okay.
I love a choreographed fight. Yes, like I don't know, like that. Like it worked so well, and everything was intentional. It moved like dancing, and I know that sounds silly, but that works. Same thing with lightsaber fights. Like that's cool when it looks good. It doesn't need to look wonky. It needs to look pretty-ish.
Yeah. Well, because the first half of it looks like professional fighters. Like the first part of their fight looks like, and when you do the choreography part, it adds a level of like these are professional fighters, top of their game kind of deal, right? You don't need gritty, bare knuckled, in the gutter type fighting for every single movie. Some movies you need that. You don't need it for, these two fighters going at it. But I will say this. They had a perfect setup to do a different type of fight that would have been so much better. Like he stole all these like fighters' souls throughout the movie. If they start the way they did, you had the fight, the music going right, and then instead of like busting out a bunch of people from different generations of fighters, if he just started throwing him out like almost like a kind of like the Mortal Kombat original game, where you had to fight one person, you just get up to him, right? Where he goes to the stairs and then sends down all these different fighters of souls that he took, and so he ends up having to fight the Andrew McCutcheon character. He ends up having to fight Art Lean, young Charles Barkley. He ends up having to fight his brother. At the very end, you could have had like that would have been like to me that would have been so much more impactful, and then had the final fight between them two be a little bit more like the first half of that fight, and then you have a much better fight.
So a tournament arc inside the tournament arc movie. Okay.
Yes. Yes. But I mean, but really, you could literally have it to where, especially up the stairs, because then he has a reason to go up the stairs, and he can't just run up there, or as Erica says, trot up the stairs. Now he's fighting up the stairs, and he's fighting these different souls of people that he has to fight, and you end up with him in the brother thing in a significantly more emotional and impactful moment where he's having to actually physically fight his brother and fight through his guilt. I'm just saying that would be so much better, and then he gets to do the final fight with Shang Tsung, and then you have everything there instead of just getting a bunch of rando dudes that he called from whenever.
So I thought about Yorton when those rando dudes came out, because I was like, I bet you Yorton appreciates the history being thrown here. It's all these fighters throughout time. You get the Mongolian warrior. I was like, Yorton's gonna have some thoughts on this. Yorton, any thoughts on these historical fighters that were spat out?
Honestly, I don't think I really thought about it that much, to tell you the truth. Ray's going to be disappointed. I'm like, I sort of felt like I spaced out on that one for some reason. I'm sure I didn't think.
Fair enough. All I saw was Mongolian. I was like, Yorton has some information about Mongolians. I'm sure he knows all this weird stuff. But my thought was, in the game, when you fight Shang Tsung, he transforms into the fighters you defeated for like 10 seconds and uses their powers against you, and then transforms to a different fighter and uses their powers against you. And so like something like that would have been cool, but I think ultimately crescendoing into what Seth came up with was like, now you got to fight your brother, and I'm not transforming back into Shang Tsung. Like, you're gonna have to like actually like lay hands on me as your brother. That would have been dope.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think his brother was that good of a fighter, so it's a
he would have won. He definitely would have won. But that would have been your emotional fight, because that's one thing we didn't really get, because we didn't know Sonya Blade's partner. So like we didn't care about that
Nothing
emotional
was
fight.
earned in this movie. Like no
Hey.
emotional moment was earned. Okay.
Whoa. Time out.
None.
No, Johnny Cage and Goro. He destroyed that man's sunglasses. That was completely fair. Everything about what came afterwards
It's
was
within the
fair.
character. Yeah.
Yeah. $500 sunglasses. Come on now.
So sorry.
I will say Shang Tsung's power of he can absorb souls and then transform himself into the people he's absorbed, and I'm assuming can fight like them. Like, how did he lose? Why not just turn into some grotesque martial arts monster from a different realm and just lay down the ass whooping?
Hope you don't mind, I brought some friends. Associates? Slaves. I brought slaves.
To be fair, we really don't know. He collects souls, but to me, it just more seemed like a coin collection
Like a
of
Pokemon
souls.
card collection.
Well, at least
He
with
could-
a Pokemon collection, you can use them to fight. Him, I feel like he just could like, oh, this is cool. I like this soul because it didn't seem to make him stronger or anything like that. It just he collected souls and.
He did transform though. We did see him do that in the movie. He did that
And
for
it
Johnny
looked-
Cage's old master.
Yeah, but I was under the impression he just can look whoever he wants. Sort of
Yeah,
like
that was like
the
more
early-
magic than anything
So it's
else.
not really
Continuity error.
If he sucked the soul and he only can transform to the people he sucked the soul from, okay, but
Let's use the word absorb the soul. He
You say the things and that I love it because I am thinking it and I don't want to say it.
I can't help myself.
Jordan, I know exactly what you meant, and there was absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Oh, we all know what you meant, but our heads went somewhere else when he kept repeating sucking the soul over and over. All right. One thing I did notice about the transformation at the end when he turned into Liu Kang's brother, I was like, that's the same effect they use in Michael Jackson's music video. What's the one? Black and White. Don't matter if you're black or white.
Alright, so we're gonna aim for the balloons.
At the end when he all these people are oh my god, you were all millennials. Do your homework.
Boy,
I know the song.
I grew up on George Strait. I grew up
The
on
music
TNT,
video
Channel
for
15,
this-
not MTV.
This is an iconic 90s music video, and like it transformed the technology of like whatever the fuck you call that, transferring like faces to look like someone else. It was crazy. It's still impressive today. All right, I'm gonna die on this hill alone, I guess. Okay, y'all. So this is a movie that I think the flaws actually make it memorable, while also holding it back. But it's also a movie that was never going to be great in the first place, and so it's like a Bethesda game. Let's enjoy the bugs and quirks and things that are kind of messed up. Sure, you might glitch through a wall, but that's part of the charm. I think this is part of the charm is some of the flaws, but they are flaws. Anything we haven't talked about that you guys want to get off your chest?
But Bethesda games
No,
are
I-
usually well written.
The lore for Mortal Kombat, go with me on this journey, is actually really well
movie?
written. It wasn't that well written in this movie, but it is a deep lore that I have only touched the surface of.
Yes, but
But
you're
go ahead.
making the comparison to the movie, not the video game.
They had an hour 40 minutes. All right, they couldn't do it all. Any complaints? Let's go.
I have one more. It's the last one. And it was the pre-Goro and young Charles Barkley fight. And it was where all of a sudden, for some weird reason, the movie felt the need to make and establish that the 7-foot, 4-armed, muscled monster was really a dangerous fighter, which I don't think you needed to establish. I think it was
Yeah, we
pretty
knew
clearly
that.
established. But he had this montage of all these people being thrown on the same pair of rocks. And I'm like, how many people came to this tournament? Like, that guy just like, were these like training dummies, or were like, sparring partners, or was this literally fighters? Like, that's a lot of fighters in this tournament that we just did not see. And so Goro was like, hey, Give me a 15-person montage of people being thrown on the rocks. And it's like, we didn't need that. You didn't even see the guy do it. You just saw guys flopping on the rocks. I mean, that's all.
The boat was much bigger than we realized, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, where'd all these, what the heck? And if they had been
Why
like
not?
sparring partners, something good with it. Like if it had been dressed in his guard people, right? I would have been more okay with
Yeah.
it.
Why not establish early on, like, the tournament's going to bring 8 of Earth's best fighter versus 8 of Outer Worlds. That way we know, okay, there's 8 on each side, and it helps us like track what's going on. So when Goro eliminates 5 off the bat, you're like, well, hold on, the math isn't working here because Liu Kang's only beat up 3 people and he's already at the boss. Like, what's going on here? Yeah, a little more structure would have been nice.
Well, he challenges him.
Too late, Lord Raiden. The rules are quite clear. It's how do you say? A deal's a deal.
So it's not like they have a structured system what they're going off. He just flat out challenges them. I mean, just like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But like, what signals that this is the match to win it all? Because technically,
I guess if
we're
you're the only
playing-
one left,
Is he the only one left though? Because if he beats Sonya, well, guess what? You have Liu Kang and Johnny Cage left to beat. Like, is it last man standing?
Also, Katana was technically on Outworld side, and then went to but like she came back. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. There's no rules. The only rule you need to know is that there are rules, but you only need to know them when you need to know them.
I love how I can see
Well,
Erica
relevant
just getting
to the plot.
frustrated when you brought her up.
I have one request, and that is that Erica watch the sequel and talk
Ugh.
about it.
Oh, she's going to, and I can't wait.
It's so bad. It is so terrible. I can't describe to you how bad it is. Like, they give you all the video game stuff and none of the competent filmmaking.
It's not Highlander 2 bad though.
It's up there, dude.
Yeah, but
It might
Highlander
be.
2 was hilarious. I laughed hysterically through Highlander 2 because that thing was nuts.
Is that the aliens one where they turn them into aliens?
No, that's maybe. I don't
The
know.
third
It was
one?
no, this was the third one was just a rehash of the first one. We didn't talk about the second one, it was so bad. But it's where he got on a hoverboard at one point and it's in the future and there's like the planet's
Okay,
gone
yeah,
solar and he has to, it was a sci-fi cyberpunk kind of thing. And it was hilariously god awful bad.
We did a joint episode. We combined 2 and 3. I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, because it was so. But Annihilation is not that good. It doesn't reach the levels of awful.
Is it Paul W.S. Anderson? He is the director of this movie who has I would say 2 complete good films on his resume. All right, here we go. Event Horizon. Mortal Kombat counts as a half. And then, what's the other movie he did?
Death Race.
I haven't seen it. No. Fuck, I'll think of it in a second. But here's my beef with him. Oh, Alien vs. Predator is half a decent movie. Like it's entertaining. But it's not good. So that counts as 2. But here's another nerd thing. The Resident Evil franchise video game is my favorite franchise of video games since I've been in 7th grade. This motherfucker ruined it. He adapted the game, right? So he's like, oh, cool. I'm going to make the Resident Evil movie. What if I put my wife in it? She looks just like Jill, the main character from the first game. But we're not going to make her Jill. She's a whole new character, and we're going to have 0 characters from the game. And it's only Resident Evil in name, and I mean it's just ridiculous. He just wanted to make his life look like a badass.
That, but you gladly, enthusiastically went to the movie theater to see all the movies.
No, I did not. I went to the first one with a lot of enthusiasm. I went to the second one with maybe he learned. And then I just shit on all of them after that, dude. Okay. I didn't even finish them. I don't think I've seen the 5th and 6th one. I think I just stopped. But
you shouldn't have. They got really good at the end.
No, I have beef with this man. I can't support his work.
Just kidding.
I was like, this man has never seen a single minute of it.
Any of those movies.
All right, categories. Favorite scene. Throw them out there, y'all. What do we got? I honestly don't know. I guess Seth, you're gonna
Directed
say.
by. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a good one. I like that
Just
joke.
kidding.
You're gonna say the Goro fight?
Yes, the Goro fight with Johnny Cage. It's always my favorite.
There's not. I mean, they're all the same level of okay. So it's hard to pick one. Eric,
I
you
mean-
have a pick?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sonya in the outfit.
Oh yeah, that terrible brown leather dress with the bad '80s hairband, music video
Yeah, what-
hair.
They did our hair and everything. Like, well, hold on, we're gonna get a stylist in here too, in the outworld, and do your hair. We're
Mhm.
stuck in the
We
80s.
can't do the final fight with you looking like you normally do. We're gonna need you to dress up a little bit.
I turned to Seth and I was like, "Is this a Poison music video? Like, what is this?"
Wait,
It looks like it.
remember how she was like, "I refuse to fight you"? It's like she didn't even know she could do that. Like, all of a sudden, she was just like, "No, I'm not gonna fight." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
I'm done.
what?
Yeah.
Like,
I can't
according
fight like
to,
this.
she's been fighting all these like people in this tournament and all these things, and he's like, "Hey, I challenge you." She's like, "Well, I don't accept." I'm like, "I don't." You know, you can't do. Like, you didn't know that was a thing you could do. It was such a.
What's
And then they like
forfeiting?
in disguise, and like, we are here. I'm like, "Can you wait till now?" You had to get your cool little entrance in. That was such a
Hell
weird
yeah.
scene. Sorry, it was a good entrance, but it's like you waited. Like, you couldn't have done that sooner.
I'll go with you. I just picked the Goro fight with these are $500 pair of sunglasses. Jordan, you want to counter that, or you cool
No,
with that?
that's what I was actually going to pick from the get go because I thought Goro was pretty cool. I liked how
Mhm.
Cage was like clever, thinking like, oh man, I can't square off with this guy, so I have to figure a way around it and everything. And it was like, oh, this is actually that's probably one of the best written story parts in there. So yeah,
It was the
The
most
only-
entertaining part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the only good writing they had by doing "This Is Where You Fall"
Mm-hmm.
and doing all the tie back.
which is a nice callback from the beginning
Yes.
of the movie.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, okay, that's good.
It was
So-
the only, to me, that was the only like
We got
clever
3
writing you
minutes
had.
of a good movie.
That I've seen probably 100 times. I like the movie. I know it's bad, but it has, when you watch a movie when you're 10 and it just sticks with you throughout the rest of time. Like, I will watch Labyrinth till I die, stuff like that. But that's actually a good movie. Okay, MVP of the movie?
The theme song.
Yeah.
Yep. Actually, you know what? You're right. That's it.
Okay, I'm still gonna say Johnny Cage.
Have you seen him
I-
recently, by the way? He still looks like a handsome old man.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him. I haven't seen him in any like movies or anything like that. But
No, I just got pictures. I don't
Yeah.
think he's in movies.
no, I liked Johnny Cage a lot in this movie as a kid, and yeah, I think he gets the best lines in the movie. Like, I just think he gets the best lines. I'm not sure if it's intentional. I don't think he's intended to. I think Liu Kang is supposed to have the really cool lines, but I think Johnny Cage ends up getting them.
But everybody can recite the song.
It's just more
Liu Kang.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
a list of names.
Yeah, I was
And-
song's great. Song's great. If it wins,
Song's
I'm not gonna
fantastic. That's my pick. I'm going
yeah,
with
I'm
the
not gonna be
song.
mad about it.
Yorton?
Yeah, I 100% agree with the song. I was like even thinking about like they knew they had a banger when they started it off right off the top of the movie, like to get people excited, and yeah.
It's so good. Do you guys have? Go ahead.
Fun fact: when I was in elementary school, I did a kata for the talent show to that song. It's a true story.
You did what?
Kata, the training moves to practice. I was in Shotokan when I was a kid. My family did it. Like, all my family did it. So it was like a family tradition. You went to the Huntsville School of Karate, which is Shotokan, and you did that. So a kata is what you would do to practice different types of moves and techniques without having to fight somebody. It wasn't shadow boxing, but it's kind of like that.
Can you show me what that looks like right now?
No.
Demo.
It's
It's
been so long since I have done anything. I quit shortly thereafter I did that talent
You
show.
pull a
But
muscle.
but let me tell you, it was a hit. It was a big hit that year. I was very popular at the end of 4th grade.
It'd be a viral video if you did it right now with your headphones on.
If I knew how to do it, I would. I'm not even kidding. I really would. It's been so long though. I literally think I quit before I turned 10. So it's been way. I'm not doing the math on that. I don't need to feel that old right now.
Are there any categories? I guess favorite line, which is "This is where you fall," or $500 sunglasses. We can all agree. Are there any other categories you guys want to do before we go before we vote?
Well, we
Hey,
still have
six man.
6 man. That's it's been a while. All right, 6 man. Charles Barkley.
That'd be more of a shout out, but yeah.
That's a shout out, Charles Barkley. Yeah.
Charles
6 man.
Goro, the 6 man. There.
The real Charles Barkley is
Yeah.
gonna get some sort of like notification that he was talked about like 6 times on a podcast, and he's gonna listen to this and be like, "What the hell?"
I kind of wish it had been him. Can you imagine how much better this movie would have been if it had been like actually
It
Charles
would have
Barkley?
been as big as him.
Yeah, but then it would have made Goro that much
I
more
don't know.
dangerous.
Charles Barkley, that was a big man.
He's a
I
big
mean,
man.
But think about it. If they beat up Charles Barkley and his big size, right, makes Goro even more dangerous. Just adds
Charles
to
Barkley
it.
doing karate. I can't take it seriously.
I can't take the guy.
There's a
God, they
Shaq
had
Fu
to.
video
I can't
game.
take
I
it
can
seriously.
see.
And it's not taken seriously.
That's hilarious.
I'm just saying. No, I don't have
That's
a
the
6
movie
man
I
for
wanna
this
see.
movie. This movie doesn't have a 6 man, in my opinion, because the characters you get, they don't spend any time really. I mean, you could say
does.
Sub Zero or Scorpion, I
Nope,
guess.
Kano.
I mean, he influenced a lot, right? Like his portrayal of that
He's
character
very
changed the
memorable
game.
in the movie.
He is
He's very
memorable.
memorable, and he's
I
not in
think
it that much.
stuff. Yeah.
Or
Okay,
you
I
could
could
say
go with that.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion. Yeah.
But like, yeah, but Kano I think is actually a better pick because like Sub Zero and Scorpion weren't characters. I mean, they were, but they didn't have personalities. They didn't have any agency. They were just, I'm gonna
No.
go fight this mystical being. Mystical. Yeah, it works.
They have a whole backstory too. It's weird that they're on the same side, but you find that
Yeah.
you know about it from the new movie. They kind of have that history. All right, 6 man, and then we did that. So I guess it's time for. Are we gonna vote? Okay, I want to
recommended
go.
first. Recommended.
I recommend this highly to anyone who doesn't want to pay attention to something for an hour and 40 minutes. Also, do your homework. Just do your homework. It's a homework assignment. Go watch this and know, the origin of video game movies pretty much. This is it.
This was the top tier video game elite movie, except for Street Fighter, of course. But like outside of that one, like it was the one that people looked up to for like it set the bar, which
Street
it was
Fighter
a
should
very
have had a tournament. Just saying, there should have been a tournament in Street Fighter, not some plot to overthrow the world.
Street Fighter works so much better. It was original idea. The video games took it over and started doing like the Mortal Kombat games later have a story instead of a tournament. It's like I'm just saying, Injustice.
A lot of the anime
not tournament story.
is so it's fine for this time to be a tournament because
it influenced things.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's an influencer, a magnum opus of the '90s action. But anyway, I'm just saying. I don't know what I was saying. But Mortal Kombat, I recommend.
Would you recommend it?
I do. I recommend the movie. I
Yeah.
enjoyed the movie.
Jordan?
I don't know. It's a movie where it's like I can't really bash on, but at the same time, I can't really recommend. It's just like if you've already seen it, you know if you like it. If you haven't seen it,
Yes.
it might not be the best movie for you to watch, but have fun. That's about all I can say about it.
Erica, let
This
me know.
movie is silly. That's the only way you can really describe it. It's just like, what the fart is this? No.
I will say,
Politely, no.
no, it's fine. I saw this about 10 years ago or 8 years ago at Alamo Draft House. They're doing like one of those like old movies,
Yeah.
and they gave us like cheap sunglasses to crush at certain scenes and like stuff to
That's
do at
awesome.
certain moments, like pop this at your favorite moment. And it was like everyone was in there, knew what they were in there for, and it was a fun experience. So if you get a chance to see it in theaters, I recommend go do that because you're gonna just have a fun time doing that. And it is, I mean, I understand why you guys are not going to put it in the Hall of Fame, but in my personal Hall of Fame, there's no way I can deny it because I've seen it. It's as many times as I've seen A Few Good Men, which is I can't count. You know, it's just one of those movies that was always on TV or on sale at whatever DVD store, Suncoast, whatever. Back in the day, that had the DVDs for cheap, and I could tell you what the DVD looked like. It wasn't even like a case. It was one of those things that had like a flap that
Yeah,
lifted and
plastic.
it opened up. It was like paper. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I
Um,
hated those. I hated those cases
I
so
know they
much.
didn't match everything else. I was very
Yeah, they're always too
stick
big.
with that. My OCD was like, this is bullshit. Okay, so yes for me, Erica. Obviously,
You're
no.
so presumptuous. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, sorry.
I'm gonna say Seth for last. Jordan.
No, it's not. I'm in the Hall of Fame.
Thought you were cool, man.
What?
Thought you were cool.
It's
There's no
like,
Goldens
man,
in
I
it.
can't bash someone for seeing it, but you know what? Get a few drinks in me. All right, I'll go watch it again.
Yes.
That might be entertaining.
Yeah.
Then you could just
And
shit on it the whole
every time
time.
you see a kick that misses the person, but they react to it, like take a drink.
Well, you can make a lot of fun drinking games with this movie.
Seth, are you gonna be the tie? You gonna tie it up
Yeah,
or
it actually is going to be a tie because I do love this movie. Like I know it sounded like I didn't.
yes?
If you're looking at this from the like a prism of is this a good movie? No, it is objectively not a good movie. Is it an enjoyable martial arts movie from the '90s with a weird dark fantasy twist? Yeah. Is it a big nostalgic thing where like I'm totally down to watch this and yeah, I'm going to do that. If I'm flipping through the channels and I'm looking for something to watch and it comes on, I'm stopping to watch. I already actually, I didn't even know I did this. I'd actually bought this movie digitally on Prime. And so that's how we watched it. I'd already watched it. It said, you want to resume? And it was at the very end credits. And so we were like, oh, we had to go back and watch. So I know I've watched it recently too. It's, so even though I said, I think the newer movie kind of makes this one
It's better
kind of
made.
show some flaws of what you can like what they could have done better. And even though I said all these other things that could have made the movie better, no, I love the movie. I want to rewatch it. So
It's
yeah,
candy.
A
I love the
whole
movie
hour
going in.
bashing the
And so that
movie, and
didn't
it's like,
change.
nope.
I know.
I love the movie. One of my favorite movies.
Well, here's why.
It's a work of art.
The format that we did this, and this is no criticism, but in the format that we did it by going by the fights and the negatives, I didn't really get a chance to say or make it really appear how much I actually do appreciate this movie because this movie is very flawed. It is very, very
But
flawed.
that's what makes it great.
Yeah, but it's enjoyable and like every time I watch it, I'm like I'm waiting for that Johnny Cage fight. I'm waiting for Johnny Cage's lines. I'm waiting for Liu Kang to do that weird triple 5,000 kicks in the reptile's chest while he very clearly is hanging onto harnesses. He is very clearly grabbing onto something in the middle
I
of the
forgot
air.
about that.
Yeah, I mean, but it was cool. That was really awesome when you were, 5, 6, 10 years
That's
old.
called the scissor kick. You hold down low kick for 5 seconds, and when you let go, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Do you guys, Seth? I need you to call Jared right now.
I think he's on a date.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's going to answer.
If he
But
cares
I will
about this
text him.
podcast, he will. Okay, someone text him, and we'll
texting him
see
right
if he
now.
responds. Okay. Do y'all want to take a guess at the Rotten Tomato score?
I accidentally already saw it.
Yeah.
Erica doesn't
I
want to
know.
continue
Not.
her streak, man.
Oh no, I lost
You're
my
not
streak
supposed
last
to
week
look.
thanks to Rosemary's Damn Baby.
Oh yeah.
Doug
Okay, I
won
have
that,
not
right?
looked.
What?
I'm on the website, but I have
Yeah.
not looked. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and I'm gonna go first, so you have a chance to Price is Right me here. I'm gonna go 29%.
29. Okay.
Oh.
I'm
Okay, don't
gonna,
help him out.
I'm going to go 45.
In what world did almost half the critics go, good movie?
Look. My answer, Jordan, don't be mad. Don't be mad. I was going to do this the whole time. I haven't seen it, by the way. Erica saw it. I did not see it. I don't.
Oh, okay. Do you want to take a guess?
Yeah, I'm guessing because I didn't see it. I have no idea what it is. By the way, we do have an answer for the Hall of Fame. I'll tell you after we finish the Rotten Tomatoes score. 42. And here's why it's 42.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It's 42 because that is the answer to life. I have absolutely no idea how
How
critical
many times have you
possibly.
said that? I haven't been on this podcast in like 4 months, and I still know you've said that about 18 times on previous episodes. It's the answer to life.
I
Believe
haven't
it or
got a
not,
chance to say it
he
lately.
doesn't.
I have not
He
got a
doesn't.
chance to say it lately. This is
You
one of
just
the
wait
few
for
times
me.
I get a chance to. Yeah, I
I
was
think
like,
I've used it more, so that's why.
here, yeah, but I'm just saying 42.
And
'Cause
you
I think,
said
45.
sorry, Jordan.
Yeah.
My bad for going so
I think
close.
it's no, don't apologize. It's 47. Yorton destroys us. He got it. It's 47.
That's
I'm
about right.
laughing at this critic review that says it is too violent for children
Yes.
and too silly for anyone else.
It's so true. Novices may find the ground rules difficult to follow. I'm not a novice, and I found it difficult. Though, if you cut away the baroque detail, you are left with blunt, noisy, violent fight between good and evil. Okay. Let's get one more bad review. Let's see if we can find one more bad one.
You don't want to get a good one?
Okay, fine. The wonderful and practical use of limited budget, the film's phenomenal production design, and it did have good set design for the most part. I will say that.
I will
And
agree with that
exquisite.
whole statement there. For the budget it had, it really used its budget.
It filmed on some random Thailand island that had no like amenities. They had to like apparently sell everything out. Again, read the trivia. I'm
Yeah, they
just
did.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They spent all their money on practical set pieces and effects, and then they got on paint, drew the lizard, and
Got
put it in the movie.
Oh my god. They drew the lizard.
In paint.
Yeah, they say CGI is bad, but overall it's fun. And that is from Don Shanahan of the Cinephile Hissy Fit podcast.
What
Okay,
the
sir.
heck of a name is that?
No. I
Are we
thought I was-
starting beef with that podcast?
Yeah, man, fuck that podcast for liking the movie I put in the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah, we have
All
an
right.
answer, by the way.
Oh
we
yeah,
got
all
a
right.
deal.
What's your answer? What's your answer?
Yeah, here's the answer. The answer that Jared said is he said yes. It's in the
He's
Hall of Fame.
fired.
Oh my god, he got in the Hall of Fame. This piece of shit. I'm so happy. I'm so happy.
You
We
already
need
He's
to
fired.
rewatch Street Fighter.
I don't have Street Fighter. I don't have Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. What the hell?
Oh, I know. That hurts my heart still. That's the best one. It's not
You
even
were the
close.
one who voted both of them off.
No,
I voted for it. I voted for it.
That was me and Jared, and
Oh,
then
okay.
I think the tiebreaker ended up not going that way or something.
Yeah,
know.
I was all for it.
I will say Ray was actually on your side for that one. That one was me.
For yelling in your microphone. You son of a bitch. I'm joking. All right. Well, you know what's not going to be in the Hall of Fame?
The next movie?
Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That movie is just.
I'm gonna do
outright
it just to
atrocious.
spite you. No.
No,
No,
I'll
you're
be
not.
happy to put it in there. Like it just taints the rest of the list.
I assure you, Erica. She hasn't watched that one. I know she hasn't watched that one because I don't watch that one. So I know she hasn't watched it.
It's one of the movies you forget how bad it is until you watch it. You're like, how could I forget how bad this is? This is so terrible.
I'm pretty sure all of you know why I hate that movie based off the positives I've said about this movie. So when we get there, it's not even going to be a shock.
Oh, the
You're gonna know why I
CGI
hate
is
it.
going to be awful. Also, no one returns except for Liu Kang.
No, and Katana.
Oh,
pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's the same actress.
I think she gets more of a role in this one. Yeah. All right, whatever.
I don't think
we're
you get any less of a role than she had in this one.
Just saying riddles in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, I think they spend most of their time in the other world, so where she's like a princess. So I think she gets more of a role. But whatever, we'll talk about it next week.
Someone who has a named character, yeah, they spend no time on her. Anyways.
Any last thoughts?
No women justice. No justice for female characters in this movie.
You'll get it in the sequel.
The video games
Oh God.
are iconic for the women characters, like great
Yes.
characters. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Any last thoughts before we sign off? No. All right. Go watch the movie. Until next time. See you guys later.